chapter 6. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom, and over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion nor fault, forasmuch as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. Then said these men, We shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God.
In our previous video, we learned that in 538 BC, Cyrus killed Belshazzar and put an end to the Neo-Babylonian Empire. He installed 62-year-old Darius the Mede in Babylon, Daniel chapter 5 verse 31, and went to Persia, Iran, to be with his dying father. Darius ruled Babylon for 2 years. He died in 536 BC. Events recorded here in Daniel 6 occurred somewhere between 538 and 536 BC. Daniel 6 verse 1, It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes. These princes or provincial governors are officially known as satraps. A satrap is a governor of an ancient Persian province. These areas ruled by satraps were called satrapies. Cyrus's kingdom was massive, and each satrap to control a specific amount of land, collecting taxes and maintaining law and order. Darius set 120 satraps over his entire kingdom with 3 presidents over them, of which Daniel was chief. When the Medo-Persian kingdom was enlarged by the victories of Darius Astaspes, Cyrus the Great's second cousin, the number of satraps increased to 127, as seen in Esther chapter 1 verse 1. Daniel 6 verse 3, Daniel distinguished himself among the presidents, and Darius thought to make him a vassal king over the entire Babylonian province. Verses 4 and 5, political, societal and racial prejudices were heightened. The remaining presidents and the satraps disdained the thought of having a Hebrew captive administering over them. As is common in politics, they looked for corruption in Daniel to exploit, but the Bible said that there was no error or fault found in Daniel. His business transactions, when subjected to the closest scrutiny of his enemies, were found to be without one flaw. Daniel was an example of what every businessman may become when his heart is converted and consecrated, and when his motives are right in the sight of God. The presidents and satraps found no fault in Daniel. With diabolical determination, the Persians decided to use the tenets of Daniel's faith, his adherence to the law of God, against him. 2 Timothy 3 verse 12, And all that will live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution. Those who belong to Christ, those who obey him, will be persecuted. In the face of persecution, remember the words of Christ, John 16 verse 33, But be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. Verse 6, Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king. The phrase, assembled together, is translated from the Chaldean root, regash, which means, to gather tumultuously. That is, they came to the king as though some urgent matter had come up, and they had come unanimously to present it to him. This was a lie. Daniel, their chief, was not included in the discussion. They presented a decree that would flatter the king. For 30 days, let no worship be done in Babylon except it be to thee, O king. If anyone disobeys, let him be thrown in the lion's den. The attempt at flattery worked. Darius hastily agreed, and in his ignorance, set a trap for his friend Daniel. Daniel caught wind of their plot and made no attempts to stop. Instead, he committed himself to God. Verse 10, Daniel opened all his windows, and facing in the direction of Jerusalem, he knelt and prayed to the God of heaven and earth 3 times per day, in direct violation of the edict. Verse 11, Then the presidents and satraps assembled, and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. They camped outside Daniel's home, and saw him disobeying the edict, to desist from praying to anyone but the king. Verses 12 and 13. In great haste, they went to Darius, reminding him that the law of the Medes and Persians cannot be changed. They told him that Daniel broke the law that prohibited worshipping any god, except the king, within the 30-day window. Verse 14, Darius was angry with himself. He could not believe that he allowed himself to be tricked. Darius was determined to deliver Daniel. And the verse closes out by saying, he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. The jealous leaders reminded Darius that the law cannot be changed, and Darius had no choice but to send Daniel to the lion's den. Verse 17, Daniel was thrown into the lion's den. A stone covered the entrance, and the king's seal was applied to it. Verse 18, the king did not eat and he could not sleep. He brought musicians to play soothing music, and he couldn't sleep. Verses 19 and 20, at the first light of dawn, Darius ran to the entrance of the lion's den, and he called out to Daniel in a sorrowful voice. He wanted to know if Daniel's God was able to save him. Verse 21, Daniel answered, O king, live forever. Verse 22, my God has sent his angel and he has shut the lion's mouth, because God has found me innocent. I have not done anything wrong before you as well. Here stood Daniel, safe from harm and in excellent spirit. His faith in God preserved him. Darius made haste and took Daniel out of the lion's den. Verse 24, to emphasize the extent of the miracle, showing how hungry the lions were, when Darius commanded that the presidents and satraps be thrown into the den, before they hit the ground, the lions overpowered them and ate them, including their bones. Proverbs 1 verse 18, the righteous is delivered out of trouble, and the wicked cometh in his stead. Verses 25 to 27, as a result of Daniel's deliverance, another decree was issued. Darius proclaimed that all men were to fear and tremble before the true God, Daniel's God, the God of heaven and earth. He delivereth and rescueth, and he worketh signs and wonders in heaven and in earth. Jesus does not desire that those for whom he gave his precious blood, be the sport of demons and evil men. He walked in the midst of the fiery furnace and delivered Daniel's 3 friends. The Son of God closed the lion's mouth. Today he is standing at the altar of mercy, presenting before God the Father the prayers of those who desire his help. Freely will he pardon all who come to him for forgiveness and restoration. John 14 verse 2, in my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. Verse 3, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again, and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. John 15 verse 14, ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you. The obedient will inherit the earth made new. Christ is coming back for an obedient people, a people without spot or defilement. Let us remain ever so faithful, as we await Jesus' imminent return.